everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Risty Flick. My name is Anuj Ghai, and today is our first episode of our cricket podcast. And today we have a very special guest with us. His name is Mr. Surendra Singh. Also, we call him as Sandy Singh in our Rajasthan Royals fan community members. Today we're going to discuss a lot about the rise of Indian cricket. But before that, let me tell you more about Sir. He is the currently coaching with the Lords Taverners and also with Himley Cricket Club. His association with the cricket has been, I mean, it's been a long journey, sir, for you. So we're gonna talk a lot about all these stuff. So over to you, sir. Tell us about the fascination that you have about cricket, your how your journey of cricket coach started, and a lot more. And also, sir, it's a pleasure for me to host you right now. Yeah.
Ah, thank you, Anuj, and it's a pleasure to be one of your first guests. And I say we've recently got to know each other, and I'm really impressed with your knowledge of cricket. And every time we're communicating, I'm learning more, and that's the beauty of cricket. And that's the beauty of cricket is like now we are such a small community. Everybody's in lockdown. We are able to connect with people across the world. And I'm sitting here in Birmingham, and you're sitting in there in India, and we can have this conversation, which is fantastic. A bit about my journey, as you mentioned. Like currently, I've been doing a lot of coaching for the last mainly 4 years, and this came about because my niece was showing a lot of potential playing cricket, and I attached myself to a program called the Wicketz Programme, which was running in my local area. And after watching and observing the cricket, the person asked me to start some coaching. He said, you should do some coaching. And from that, I started my coaching journey, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. But in the back of my mind, it's always going to be 1982, 1983, 1984 World Cup. When Kapil Dev picked up the World Cup at Lords, my cricket journey started. Yeah, people love football. I love football. But my passion has always been cricket. So ever since a little boy playing at the park for hours upon hours, playing cricket, beautiful. I enjoyed it. And then I had a phase in my life where cricket just was basically just watching it on TV, and I was disassociated with cricket. And then when obviously you get young people involved in your family, I get re-engaged with the game. So it's been a big journey. The last 5 years have been absolutely amazing. And that's why I'm sitting here with you today.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. As you told that your cricketing coaching career started 5 years back. So our viewers want to know, and I also want to know that if we are, coaching a team, suppose, I mean, there are speculations on the, always we say that, okay, coach should be a man manager. I mean, he should have the skills of man management. What's your take on that? Because there is one parameter which is being judged by the technical, how technically sound that coach is, whether it's bowling, batting, or fielding. What's your take on man managerial skills?
For me, the biggest aspect, and I say what my biggest skill is the man management aspect of it. Technically, yeah, I've picked up everything from a coaching perspective, and I can coach the team, and that's not a problem. Having the drills and everything, that's important. But the actual man management of the team, that is key, and it's engaging with a player with different personalities. The biggest challenge of any cricket team or any sports football team is being able to connect with the people that you're working with. Whether that be some people will require a lot more encouragement, and that will help them develop. Some people will require the other one, which is the Indian method, is a clip around the ear and a couple of shouts, and that will get people working in a different way. And the other aspect is to combine the both and make sure that the teammates are gelling too. I think the biggest thing what we forget is cricket is a team game. Yes, individual scores, batting, bowling, fielding, you can access as an individual. However, if they don't all work as a team, you will always fail. And the teams that win have all the aspects there. And that all comes down to the coach. I'm highly critical of Ravi Shastri, as you know, but he has one skill which probably other coach might not have, and that is the motivation aspect. And that is really, really important. And I've learned that in my journey, that sometimes you need that area. Yeah. However, in the Indian setup, we look at the Indian setup, and we even can say back to the Rajasthan Royals setup. it's quite similar. If the coach is not connecting with the players, and the batting coaching, fielding coaches, and they are not doing their job, the first thing the fans start saying is sack the coach, sack the coach,
Yeah,
sack the
yeah,
coach. Yeah. But it's even the management of the team is a collective effort where you need the batting, bowling, fielding coach all in one in sync with the head coach. So
yeah,
the higher you go up the pyramid, the more important that is. However, on the grassroots, a
mm,
coach, a top coach, a head coach needs to have all the aspects of all these skills and be able to talk to the young people. I coach the under 10s, and for
mm,
my journey, for
yeah,
me, it's making them one love to play the game. So once they love to play the game,
yeah,
then they love to win. Yeah, it's not love to win first, love to play the game second. It is love to play the game and love to win together. So if you can drill that in a young person straight away, they will become successful in cricket overall. We have two systems. I say in India, I see a lot of young people on social media,
mm,
showing a lot of potential, and it is good to have that potential at a young age. However, where coaches are probably going wrong, in my opinion, is to make sure that they have the communication skills away, how to talk to their team, how to talk to treat them like family and friends, and then once that gels, then you see the ones with the better skills, they become like the captains or the main players.
yeah. So we can make out one term for this. It's the camaraderie. We can say among the players, among the group of the players. Your journey. I mean, your association with India. Now you are in England. I mean, you are born and brought up in England. I mean, if I'm wrong, you can correct me. So your journey towards cricket. From where you are and how this love for cricket, as you said, the 1983 World Cup was the first impression of yours that okay, this is something which is really fascinating me. So tell us about more about your journey as an individual, how it started, and obviously I know we know about your cricketing coach career now. So more about how it started, where you were born, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm born in a little village just outside Edgbaston. So my
Okay.
closest ground to me is Edgbaston, which is about 10 miles away, and
Uh-huh.
that is the closest. And then I have my local club, which is just down the road, which is good. But however, when I was young, a lot of my friends were Indian Pakistani. Yeah, so Indian
Okay.
Pakistani, and we had that love, combined love of cricket. Yeah, and even when I was young, I was supporting any team other than England. I'm sad to say that now because that's how it was. If you did say that you supported England amongst my friendship groups, they would disown you. So
Okay.
that was one of the big things that I
Uh,
really, really thought. And then I had a lot of friends from Pakistan. So obviously I would support Pakistan because most of my friends were from Pakistan and the West Indies. So I was brought up in a very melting pot of different cultures and religions and people from different backgrounds. And the three main friendship groups of mine were West Indian, Pakistani, and obviously Indian. So Punjabi, mainly Punjabi. But so it was good when India played Pakistan. I support India. When India played West Indies, I support India. And when India played England,
yeah.
or whatever the countries played each other, we would all support the other country. So it was really a friendship group why we supported each other's country. And now you look at the social media and anything is like, oh, Pakistan is so independent from India. It's the two fans constantly
Yeah.
fighting. I don't understand that concept because obviously from when I was brought up in England, we were all together. And that's one of the beauties of cricket because it does connect migrant groups very closely to something because we could relate to that, because, we could have Bisham Bedi was one of my early heroes because obviously he was the Pataka and he was a Sikh, a visible Sikh guy. And then when it started changed when Monty came. So when
Oh,
Monty came, I
okay.
started supporting England a lot more because I saw somebody who looked like me
Yeah,
playing
yeah, yeah,
for England and doing well. And
mm,
now we have Umar Verdi coming up as
yeah,
well. So when Umar Verdi plays, I've been able to relate with him, which is a good thing. I'll be again 50-50 now. Now I'm more 50-50 England and India, but
uh,
I still have that attachment to India. And every time I go on a holiday, if I have a choice of going on holiday, I would go back to India because I love going back to Punjab, back in Haryana where I'm based,
okay.
semi-based as well. And now with the Rajasthan Royals, obviously that is Shane Warne was my idol and Rahul Dravid was my idol. So
uh,
that's why I'm really attached to Rajasthan Royals, and with the Super Rose program the way it is, we're connecting Rajasthan Royals fans across the globe, and that's how we met. So it's really, really good being in that position where I can connect with the fans.
Yeah. So as you said about that Punjab factor, I'm also a Punjabi. So I mean, we'll be having the conversation Punjabi too when some sort of things happen. We talk about cricket. So now we're gonna go back down the memory lane to discuss more about how cricket changed in India, because I mean after 2008, if we talk about IPL came, that basically set the parameter, or you can say set the tone or the benchmark for world cricket. After the IPL, we had a lot of youngsters playing for India. Not for India. I mean, we have players who've been, selected in their national side while playing for their clubs. So, your take on IPL specifically, as how IPL have changed the dynamics or the brand of cricket we talk about nowadays, and also a bit more on Rajasthan Royals, because obviously I'm talking about IPL, so the association with Rajasthan Royals as well.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. I take this back to the iconic moment when Saurav Ganguly took his shirt off and waved it at Lords.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest changes in Indian cricket. The reason then, it gave Indian the power, the confidence, and we say in Spanish, what's the word? Cajones. We say that it first time an Indian person was actually really, really positive about Team India. And physically, I'm not afraid to show it. And from that, we now have obviously MS Dhoni, the great captain. Again, personality, big personality. Now we have Virat, big personality. Whether he's a good captain or not, that's up to debate. And my views are still 50-50 on whether he's the right captain. But let's just say that. But his professionalism, his athleticism, his willingness to win, that is the big change, and in the in Indian psyche now. And obviously with the social media, the way it's expanded, it has meant that now young Indians are more afraid or more passionate to be proud to be Indian. Yeah. So I think that's where the beauty of the cricket and the cricket and the personality in India, that is reflects in how we play. Now, when we play the aggressive brand of cricket and India are on top, all the fans are really happy. But on the downside is when it goes wrong, the fans get angry. So you've kind of stoked up the passion, you've stoked up the expectation of the fans so high. So if they don't reach that expectation, the fans do not like it. My journey as in this social media field is I'm learning that Indian fans are so knowledgeable about the cricket. They have a view on absolutely everything, and that's why I love to connect. In England, it's all based on football, not really in cricket, but the cricket is growing now because we'll have the 100 here soon. So that will again give us the razzmatazz and make the local cricket a lot more attractive for younger audiences. And then younger audiences use more social media. So social media, you will get a better impact on social media. That's why I really like what the ECB are doing with the 100. They got the T20 thing for the counties, which is fine. However, they do need a brand of cricket, which is going to have the top players playing in it, and then the top coaches playing in it. And then that will expand the level of the cricket for local. If we go back to the IPL, this is where the IPL has made the biggest difference to Indian cricket, because what it has done is finally been able to, each team has 4 overseas or 5 top quality overseas players. Each franchise has 4 or 5 top quality international coaches. Each team has a highly competitive level of cricket where the difference between winning and losing can be based on one thing: mental and physical fitness. So again, that has led for these players to be more physically fit, more mentally fit, and be able to deal with the pressure situations. So if we look back to the last test match, the biggest star of that last test match, Rishabh Pant, for me, was because he now has the experience to deal with when the tension is on, when the pressure is on, they know how to handle it. In England, on the other hand, did not know how to do that because they had the game on the second day in their hand, and the heat, the things that went across, went there, that let them down. So again, the highly competitive matches, that is making the difference to Indian cricket, and that is due to the IPL.
Okay.
Even if we
Uh,
look at the IPL compared to the PSL and compared to
yeah.
other leagues in the world, there's a big debate.
Big
The
debate. Yeah.
PSL is really good for one reason.
Mm.
All 8 teams are very similar. Yeah. The
Mm.
foreign players are very similar. The
Yeah.
homegrown players are very similar. So you get competitive cricket, which is a good watch.
Yeah.
IPL, on the other hand, you still get a big difference in the potential of the foreign players,
Yeah.
and you also get a big difference between the Indian players. So the team with the better Indian players, and we're going to look at now in the next
Yeah.
IPL,
Yeah.
is going to be definitely be Delhi Capitals. If you think about it, with
Mm-hmm.
what has happened today with the introduction of all the where the grounds will be, Delhi
Yeah.
Capitals will have
Big
three
advantage. Yeah. Yeah.
three spinners, and the three
Yeah.
spinners, Amit Mishra, Akshar Patel, and Ravichandran Ashwin. So you've already got three of your places potentially with Indian players, and those three spinners are probably going to be the best spinners in all of India. So you've already looked at that, and you look at the batting, and you look at the foreign players that they have. Then it becomes the team effort.
Yeah.
And even with the Rajasthan Royals last year, I was a big fan, and I was supporting the team, but I didn't think
Mm-hmm.
Steve Smith connected with the Indian players as well
Mm-hmm.
as
Mm-hmm.
he could have.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the reason why we didn't do well in that team. Now we have an Indian captain, Sanju
Yeah.
Samson.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will change. But we also have the iconic player in our dugout, which is Kumar Sangakkara. So I'm
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
happy for Rajasthan Royals, and we'll see
Yeah.
how that goes.
Yeah. So as you said, the dynamics that IPL has changed, in BCCI, you can say in world cricket and also Indian cricket. You told us about the Ganguly's era and the Dhonis and the Kohlis now. Uh, what do you think that before 2000 we had this memory, or you can say speculations on Indian cricket, that we are not winning overseas. You know, Saurav Ganguly. I mean, after the chips are down, things are not going in your favor. He just comes up and as you mentioned, the 2002 Netflix series final. I mean, we all remember that that nostalgic factor or the memory. Also in Australia, beating them in Adelaide was a big thing, and also beating Pakistan in Pakistan for the first time was also a big thing. Then Dhoni comes up. He just somehow give a lot of heroic movements to the world cricket that we somehow really connect, and it's a love that is which is endless for MS Dhoni. Then Virat Kohli comes up with the revolution of fast bowling. I want to specifically talk on this because there were speculations that in India, if you want to win, you should be having this spin friendly wickets. But as the Mohammad Shamis and the Shan Sharmas or the Jasprit Bumrah, now even Mohammad Siraj, also Bhuvneshwar Kumar rising up to the occasion. What do you think that the revolution, what Virat Kohli is been introducing to the Indian cricket? It's been almost 6 years now, 7 years now. He's been captaining the side. Also, India winning in Australia, Border Gavaskar Trophy. There was some sort of, what we can say, a fear. There's a lot of talk amongst the, Indian bowling attack, which was not there. If you go back, you can, take the example of 2008 tour, 2011 tour. So, how much fascinated you are with Virat Kohli's revolution of fast bowling in India?
Firstly, I don't think it's Virat Kohli's doing. Yeah,
Okay.
where
Yeah.
Virat Kohli has made the difference.
Uh-huh.
He's raised the fitness levels of these players. Yeah,
Okay.
and the social media, the impact, these all the sponsorship he gets, the 100 million followers that he that has rubbed off onto the Indian bowlers. Yeah. However, where the big difference
Mm-hmm.
is if you now look at the last auction. Yeah, look at the last auction. The
Yeah.
highest player in that team for the price, Chris Morris, Rajasthan Royals.
Mm-hmm.
That shows you why Indian cricket and the IPL has made the difference. The problem is everybody now knows that the most valuable commodity in Indian cricket is an Indian fast bowler. Yeah. That is going to start slightly shift now for Indian cricket in the next couple of years. The biggest chip for Indian cricket now will be to get a fast bowling batting all-rounder. At the moment, you can only name one, Hardik Pandya, who fits in that bracket properly. Other than that, you can't name them. So you will see in the next 2 years, IPL will start getting now, you will get your number 6 or your number 7 who will bowl 135 to 140 kms, and will be also to get 50 to 60 runs guaranteed. Once that happens, then Indian cricket, you can forget cricket, because India will dominate cricket for 20 to 30 years, because they will then have the fast bowling pack. And now you will see, okay, Ishant Sharma doesn't play. You have Umesh Yadav at home. Yeah. You have you have Mohammad Siraj away. You have Shardul Thakur, who can cover for Hardik Pandya away. You have Arshdeep Singh from Kings XI Punjab, left bowler who's doing really well. You got someone like him coming up. You've got Natranjan coming up. You've got bowlers out of your ears. What you don't have is a bowler that can bat really, really well. So somebody who can get 140 clicks and then also be able to hit sixes for fun. That's what the only thing is missing. But again, you look at Chris Morris's thing and you say, why was Chris Morris 16 crore? And the fact is they could not get an Indian bowler for say 10 crore or 12 crore and then have that as a place. In the auction, I said the player that we should have got would have been Umesh Yadav. And if we got Umesh Yadav for 1 crore, that would have solved our problems, because he would be better than what we had, as in a Varunaran or a Unadkat or any bowler. Even Karthik Tyagi would be able to learn from Umesh Yadav, and that would have been the big signing for us. But because the IPL has made bowling coaches available, we have the best bowlers coming through. I think Wasim Akram was the coach for KKR. Look how much their bowlers would have learned from Wasim Akram. Having Wasim Akram on your...
Mohammad Shami is the biggest example. So Mohammad Shami have been working in Wasim Akram, I guess, for KKR 8 to 9 years back, and he told in an interview that the credit goes to Wasim Akram. How he told him about the reverse swing factor, and also, how to make the ball talk. So you also told us about that, all-rounder issue in Indian cricket. I guess after Kapil Dev, we had Irfan Pathan. Okay, for a time being, we can say, okay, for about 3 to 4 years, we had Irfan Pathan rising up to the occasion. Okay, he's the next Kapil Dev, and all of a sudden, Greg Chappell comes in. Makes him the you can say bits and pieces cricketer, as Sanjay Mandrikar says nowadays. Okay, so and then we have this Hardik Pandya coming in. So how you also we have talked about that managerial skills, or how the man management works and all that stuff. What's your take that where the Indian cricket is lacking of this fast bowling and also a batting all rounder?
The thing is, because there was such a need to get fast bowlers, I think the coaching structure reflected that. We had the Dennis Lilly Academy, we've got the Glenn McGrath Academy. So these academies are coming up, and credit to that. But the fact is now, I think that's where the next phase in Indian coaching will change, will be to find the next person who can do both at a high level, and that will happen. And the IPL will help that in the next couple of years. Hopefully Shubham Dubey rises up to the occasion as well, because I say that's a potential batsman that can bowl. So if he can get his bowling up to speed, where he can probably end up, say, another 5 kilometers quicker bowling, we probably might have another world beater there and Shivam Dubey. But other than that, I think that's it. Like you look at the last World Cup. Why did India fail in the last World Cup? Because we had Vijay Shankar as our 360
degree.
Yeah, he's never gonna do it in England. He's never gonna do it in England. Shivam Dubey probably at the current level will not do it in England. Hardik Pandya, if he can sort his bowling out, will be that X factor player. But then you need somebody who can falls back. If we look at the left arm spinner conundrum we have now, so we have Ravindra Jadeja, first choice. Any team in the world, first choice player on the team sheet would be Ravindra Jadeja. Secondly, then you now have Akshar Patel coming through. Thirdly, then you will have obviously Washington Sundar, and then fourthly you could even have Yuzi Chahal. So you got four bowlers, 4 spinners already in place. Out of the 4 spinners, you're probably thinking 3 of them can bat. So Washington Sundar, Jadeja, Akshar now, and then Chahal can't bat. So if there's a choice for picking a side out of those 4 players, the chances are you will choose the other 2 before you choose Chahal. So that's one thing. And then you look at even like why Kuldeep Yadav isn't picked in the Indian team, and the fact is it's probably due to the batting. They picked Washington Sundar due to the batting, which was the right decision. Which was the right decision because it's proved it. The 96 that he got yesterday, that was nearly as good as Rishabh Pant's 100. So you think of how the Indian selectors are now going to select the player. They will select the player now based on ability. Before, early on, you belong to Mumbai, you belong to Kolkata or Delhi, the big states. You probably are more likely to be selected for India. Now it's based on ability. So the best players in those positions will now be selected. I think that's a big difference in Indian cricket as well, because like you would say, okay, who is going to play for India? You just go to one of the parks in Mumbai, and you would just select the players. Oh, there's India's future already signed up. It's like Australia. If you go to Australia, anybody who is playing for New South Wales is likely to play for Australia first. So you've got that relationship. Now in India, now you have the IPL. There's nothing stopping a young person from a young village like Niranjan playing for India. And that gives the dream to 1 billion potential future fans and people that want their son or daughter to play for India. They will use that as an example. And whereas in England, we probably don't have that passion. Our parents will think first thing first is our kid wants to be a footballer, a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Lionel Messi. Every parent's first dream is for that. And I say for me, I would want a young Sikh guy, a young Punjabi boy to play for India, for England, from here. Now, I would say that would be a big deal. So if we got Amar Verdi playing, that will really, really excite a lot of the Punjabi parents or Indian parents saying, okay, our son can play for England. And that will give England that people that dream that their kid can play for England, or in India they will play for India. So I think that's really big. And I say I'm coaching my nephew now, and he's showing promise. He's showing real promise. But we will see what happens when he gets to 13 and 14, because then it becomes a challenge. Then the PlayStation and the friendship comes in. It's a good age to coach kids from say 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a good time to coach the kids, especially the team environment, because then they can build friendships for the rest of their life. And it keeps them off the PlayStation and off the TV screens, and get them outside practicing. And that's all I can give advice to any parent out there.
So you told us about the association of Indian team, or the Australian side, or the English side. I mean, nowadays if we see that only 3 to 4 teams are in reckoning of playing a good brand of cricket. If we talk about England, if we talk about New Zealand, Australia, and India. But if somehow we eliminate this list, we have South Africa, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Bangladesh. Uh, what do you think where the ICC is lacking? Because there is some sort of talks behind the biasness among the associate nations. They are not getting to play for the ICC tournaments. So how do you rate that? Because the interest and the excitement, as in viewer, as in cricket fan, you want that camaraderie, that excitement to be there with all the teams. But if we somehow discard these teams, or we just we are watching a West Indies or the South African match, there is not some sort of excitement as it was used to be. We talk about 2 3 years back. So what's your take on the less amount of interest among people apart from these four nations?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It's very difficult because the biggest problem that cricket has is the time effect of it. Yeah, so the time and the money it costs to do these things. Now, you look at a young player. You've got a young player now. We just say, okay, Pakistan. Yeah, we got Pakistan. They will play cricket everywhere else, and basically a few matches within their own country, because they can earn money and they can travel to these countries. So you look at the BBL, you got 3 or 4 Pakistani players playing in that. You go to our county cricket in England, they're playing there. So wherever the money is, that's what the player is going to track. For them, it's a short career. Cricket is a short career of maybe 15 years, 20 years. So after 20 years, what do they do if they're not in the money? So it's very important for us to think like that. The challenge of Test cricket, again, the team with the better players, the team with the better infrastructure in their local and domestic leagues, and obviously now their T20 leagues will obviously be in a better position to invest more money into that format of the game. Whereas the other countries that haven't got the infrastructure or the thing, they will struggle. So it's going to be very interesting. And I say more competitive matches need to be happen. And so India need to play Pakistan. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they don't play in India or they don't play in Pakistan, they should play in England. Yeah. Again, that will grow the sport in England even more. Or even if they go to New Zealand or Australia, whatever is a good time zone, everything seems to be pumped into Dubai, and there's no fans in Dubai. Yeah. So it's a very, very interesting
Yeah.
concept of where cricket needs to go. More T20 leagues, more T10 leagues, more 100. That is going to happen because cricket has now become a family game where you can sit for 2 hours. A child's mental capacity is for 2 to 3 hours. It is not for 5 days. When we were young, we had no social media, no distractions. We could watch cricket all day. Yeah. From 11 o'clock in the afternoon to 6 or 7:30, I would watch cricket all day, 5 days, test match, no problem. And then I'll even watch the highlights afterwards. Say if I missed something, I'll watch it. But nowadays, kids can't do that. We in England have had something which is really good, which is Channel 4, which is our free-to-air thing. People sit down and they can watch cricket. Good time. And I think that's what we've really reconnected with this series, England versus India. We've been able to share that on fair, and the actual viewing figures have really rocketed. So again, we think there will be an expansion in young cricketers wanting to do it. As soon as the game was over yesterday, my nephew came up to me and said, "Taya, I want to bat. Let's go and bat. I want to bat like Rishabh Pant." Yeah, and that's the light bulb moment when you say, okay, he's watched the cricket, he wants to try the flick, the reverse flick, and that's all we can do. We could have this on free-to-air channel, and then young people will watch it, and then it will grow the game, and then future, that will happen. So it's really important for us and the ICC to think about these things of saying, okay, for certain ages, for my age, what do I prefer to watch? I prefer to watch Test cricket, competitive Test cricket. Yeah, T20 is fine, ODIs are fine, but for me, India versus England, India versus Australia, India versus South Africa in South Africa, India versus Pakistan in a Test series, that will be my priority number one. And anything else, World Cup, internationals, those are fine. And then it will be the domestic league. The only thing that trumps that is obviously when the IPL is on, because then my focus is 100% on the IPL. And obviously, I just hope Rajasthan Royals get to the final, and that means my IPL is complete.
Yeah. So, sir, as you said about the rise of T20 cricket, and we talk about specifically in world cricket, but there is some sort of dedication or the passion towards Test cricket. I mean, you said that we will be watching starting from 11 a.m. in the morning until 6 o'clock. Specifically talk about Test cricket, that dedication, that passion to see cricket. But nowadays the mindset of players who aspire to become a cricketer has changed. But as Virat Kohli also says that his priority will be Test cricket. So that's basically sets up the benchmark for a lot of youngsters. From I can say that from Rahul Dravid to Rishabh Pant, people idolize their their aspirations, or we can say their idols. Now I want to ask a bit more about your favorite moments, what you had in cricket. First of all, I will be asking your favorite moment of the Indian victory of your journey as a cricketer, as a coach, and also as a fan. What really give you that nostalgic moment? You told us about that 1983 World Cup victory. Kapil Dev raising the cup. Also, we want to know more. In recent times, your favorite moment of Indian victory.
To be fair, it has to be Yuvraj. Fellow Punjabi, it's just really, when he did with Mohammed Kaif, jo chakte the fatte England there, and it was, one of my best moments as cricketers. Obviously, sitting there watching it, and thinking India have lost, and then finally see this young Punjabi boy, Sher, nikal yaar, and with a shoti out, and with a. And again, a good thing with a Muslim person with a Mohammed Kaif. So it's like me playing in the Madan at home with one of my best friends. And that was it. It was the moment, the iconic moment where I thought, yaar, India support. He's the Sadi team. And that was one of my favorite bits. And from that, obviously, it was when Rajasthan won 2008. because I was a big fan of Shane Warne. I've always been a big fan. I remember him bowling the Mike Gutting ball live. On the
Ball of the
TV.
century. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and the TV ball of the century. I was watching it on TV, and I said, "Hi, hi, kidda kitti, kiddi kamal game hai
Yeah,
again."
yeah,
Yeah. So I really thought, oh, I've got it. I followed Shane Warne ever since.
yeah.
And then when they won the IPL, obviously I was in the flux of Yuvraj was playing for Kings 11 Punjab, and obviously
Okay.
my friends were Punjabi. But my
Haan ji,
mom is from Rajasthan. My mom was born in Bikaner, so
okay.
I was 50% Rajasthani in my head
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah.
So when Rajasthan won that tournament, then Rajasthan became my team, and I've followed them ever since. And it was the underdog, and also Sohail Tanveer was playing,
Yeah,
and I loved Sohail Tanveer, the way he was just bowling in that.
yeah,
Oh, I think bowling off the wrong foot. I
yeah.
think hi Kamal Dikidane, and then how he played in that game, and we have to remember that Kamran Akmal was in the team,
Yeah,
and
Yunus Khan as well. Yunus Khan as well.
it was
Also
a
the part of
big
the
it
team.
was a big thing. And I've said to my friends, I said, look, to be fair, and I have a lot of friends in Pakistan who support Rajasthan Royals, and it was really that moment and that team that really did it for me, because it was so underrated. Yeah, and we saw young Shane Watson.
Yeah,
Shane
yeah.
Watson was playing for Mumbai and Chennai and all these teams, but he will always be remembered for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
obviously,
Yeah.
when Dravid sir came over, Dravid sir has always been my favorite cricketer, because there's not one cricketer like Dravid who has the grace, the humility,
Gentleman
and the
aura. Yeah.
humbleness, and everything that is happening good in Indian cricket is down to one man, and that man is Rahul Dravid.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You said a lot about this, revolution, or you can say that match of 2002 Netflix series, and Yuvraj Singh, Sada Punjab da Munda, rising up to the occasion. Uh, since you are from England and you have been your journey basically executed over there, your favorite moment from English team over the years, there've been, I mean, a lot of speculations that England, playing of cricket, which is basically called as Test cricket, their priority is Test cricket. But after that 2015 World Cup blunder that happened, Bangladesh eliminating or thrashing England out of the World Cup, that basically changed the dynamics, or we can say the brand of cricket now England is playing. So, your take on your favorite moment of England's victory over the period of time? Yeah,
Has to be the World Cup final,
yeah.
and the reason why, because obviously once India were
Hmm.
out, I was actually supporting in England, and I've been fortunate because I met Ben Stokes, I've met Owen Morgan. I spent some real good time with Owen Morgan, and I love him. And we had a good banter as well, so it was
Okay.
really good. So I was following Owen Morgan, and then
Mhm.
I met Joe Root, and I've met Joss Butler. So I've got more connections now with the England cricket through my work, which is
Mhm.
really good. And that's the big thing. So it was England winning the World Cup, and winning it at home in the fashion that they built it, the company, the way the country went. I watched, I watched India versus England at Edgbaston.
Mhm.
I was there, and I was live at the ground.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I was 50-50. For the first
Uh-huh.
time, I was really 50-50 because of my relationships with the England players, and obviously being in Edgbaston as well. The whole country wanted England to get to the final. So I knew if England had lost that match, I wanted the England India final at Lords.
Yeah, we all
But
wanted that. Yeah.
unfortunately, I say India, Dhoni Bhai messed up. He slowed the run rate down. India had that match in their grasp on their hand, but Dhoni was so scared of Pakistan qualifying, he decided to take it easy on England, and then England come back and won the trophy. So
Yeah.
that World Cup was the best for me because I worked in the World Cup. I was at Edgbaston for all the games, covering the games, and it was a beautiful experience. Probably the best highlight in my life was working with the ECB in that tournament because I was the face at the Edgbaston, and I just really really loved that role, and it was just brilliant to be part of the World Cup. So I can say in 10 years, 20 years time, I was part of the World Cup. I have my uniform, I have my accreditation badge, which I will keep for the rest of my life. And it was being part of that World Cup is probably the high. The only highlight now that can top that is if
Mhm.
I go to India, go to all the grounds in India. That's my next journey. I want to
Mhm.
go to India, cover every ground from from north to south India, every ground. I want to go to at least one match or one game at one of those games. I've been to Australia. I lived in Australia for nearly a year, and I went to the Gabba and this SCG. I've never been to MCG, so go to the MCG as well. So I've got a lot of things to accomplish in cricket, and but two things I probably would want if Rajasthan don't win win the IPL next. Please पंजाबियों तुसी जित लो है ना तुसी एक बारी जित लो पंजाब च cricket सब तो ऊंची होगी and that's what I want. I want strong Punjabi players playing for India as well, because I think the Yuvraj factor will have a lot of effect on young players. So if we get a next big thing in coming, Shubman Gill is fantastic. We need a good Sardarji playing for in India, and then I'll be happy.
You told us about that New Zealand and England final. Ian Smith also said that ecstasy for England and agony for New Zealand. It's a bit controversial for ICC at that point of time, because the result had was at the end of the day you were deciding with the boundaries, which team has scored more boundaries. What I somehow felt cheated as a fan. I will be very honest with you, because you want a side to win. We can say if a transparency happens in the game, you want, okay, both teams have been tight. There should have been a one super over as well. What's your take on that controversy happened? But at the end of the day, Kane Williamson, showing that the gentleman's aura, a true example of gentleman game that is we call cricket. So what's your take on that controversy that happened in the final of the 2019 Cricket World Cup?
Yes, it's one of those where the rules of the tournament were set at the start of the tournament, so you cannot change that. That's why I don't have any issues with that. The controversial moment would have been obviously when Ben Stokes hit the 4 when he was diving and he hit the bat and went for boundary. I think that was luck. That was destiny for me. That was destiny, because I think that told me England had their name on the cup. Yeah, it was destiny for England to win the World Cup. Kane Williamson, brilliant captain, humble person, and again they took the defeat well. Had that been India, सारा दुनिया कमा दे पटाके बज जाने सीगे ऐदा ही होने सीगे ਤਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਚ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਨੇ ਪਟਾਕੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਸਾਰਾ ਪਟਾਕਾ ਹੋ
ਜਾਂਦਾ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੇ ਫੁੱਲ ਫੱਟੇ ਚੱਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ that point of time would being totally a biggest controversy saga would have been taken place if that would have been
ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਹਨਾ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੇ ਦੇਖੇ चीटिंग होगी और तुझे यार देखो पिच दा गल देखो किन्ना चलिया खप इक्को टीम दोनों टीमां ਲਈ सही ਆ ਹੁਣ ਲੋਰਡਸ ਜਾਓ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੋਰਡਸ ਜਾਓ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਟੌਪ ਆ ਸਲੋਪ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਆ ਕੋਈ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਹੁਣ 36 ਆਲ ਆਊਟ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਦੀ ਪਿਚ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਆਈ ਹੁਣ ਸਭ ਕੇ ਪਿਚ ਉਹ ਯਾਰ ਛੱਡੋ ਟੈਕਨੀਕ ਆ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਚੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਬੈਟਸਮੈਨ ਕੋ ਵਧੀਆ ਟੈਕਨੀਕ ਆ ਉਹ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੱਪ ਚ ਹੋਵੇ ਜੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦਾ ਹੋਈ ਸਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਪਟਾਕੇ ਹੋਣੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਪਰ ਥੈਂਕ ਗੋਡ ਇਟ ਵਾਸਨਟ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਜਿੱਤ ਗਈ ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਕੋਈ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲਿਆ ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖੋ ਕ੍ਰਿਕਟ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਵਧੂਗੀ ਉਹ ਵਰਲਡ ਕੱਪ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਹੁਣ ਇਟਸ ਗੁੱਡ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਗੁੱਡ ਥਿੰਗ we need competitive cricket ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਅੱਛੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ we need competitive cricket and ਜਦੋਂ when West Indies were dominating when West Indies were dominating ਇਹ ਸਭ ਰੂਲ ਚੇਂਜ ਕਰਤੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਵੈਸਟ ਇੰਡੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ 5 years 10 years ਇਹੀ ਜਿੱਤੂਗੇ ਕਰਕੇ look at the size of them ਹਰੇਕ ਜਵਾਨ 6 ਫੁੱਟ 10 ਤੋਂ 6 ਫੁੱਟ 5 ਆ ਛੱਕੇ ਮਾਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕਾਇਰਨ ਪੋਲਨ 6 ਛੱਕੇ ਮਾਰੇ ਅਗਲੇ ਦਿਨ it's mad you've got to look at that and say okay fair enough the rules are the rules and the team that wins and after cricket is a gentleman's game it is no point crying over spilt dod ਦੁੱਧ ਡਿੱਗ ਪਿਆ ਮੁਸ਼ਕ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮੁਸ਼ਕ ਛੱਡੋ ਆਰਾਮ ਨਾਲ it's fine leave it move on to the next tournament and that's the beauty now of cricket it's 12 months a year sport so as soon as the World Cup is over next go on to the next thing now we have the ODI series India England then we come to England then we have the World Test Championship in between we have the IPL so we have as cricket fans what more do we want isn't it and as soon as the India finishes on ਸਾਡੀ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਸੀ ਇਸ ਟੈਸਟ ਸੀਰੀਜ਼ ਲਈ ਸਾਰਾ ਬਾਹਰਲੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਸੀ ਬਾਹਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਆ ਇੰਗਲੈਂਡ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਜਿੱਤ ਗਏ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਪਰ ਕੱਲ ਪਰਸੋਂ IPL ਹੋ ਗਏ ਸਾਰੇ ਬੱਕਰੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਰਾਜਸਥਾਨ ਰਾਇਲਸ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਹੋਊਗੀ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ सब बकरे बकरे की फेर डिबेट चलूगी.
Wait, wait,
हाँ,
Chalugi.
फेर पटाखे बजूगे.
Yes, as you said, the cricket is the gentleman's game, and we have to respect that. We need to. We don't want to cross that line. We should respect. The amount of cricket that is being played. It should be played in a fair play. And as an audience, we should respect that aura. We should respect the cricket at the end of the day. With that note, sir, it's been a pleasure for me to host you. About all the cricket stuff we talked about today. But before that, there is one thing I just want to discuss with you. Today, IPL schedule has been announced, and from 9th April, IPL is going to start. So at six venues, it's going to be played. What's your take? Where Rajasthan Royals can make the most of it in terms of venue, in terms of pitches we talk about, and who are you supporting? We are supporting obviously Halla Bol Rajasthan Royals, but for spectators, for fans, what's your point? Because it's there's been speculations that it's going to play with behind the closed doors. So how you gonna see this IPL rising to the occasion from 9th April?
To be fair, it's going to be interesting because I say we look at what happened in Dubai.
Yeah,
Viewing figures were brilliant. Yeah, pitches were good, stadiums were good. Teams didn't have to travel.
yeah,
6 grounds now. I am disappointed the PCA is not going to be used because PCA will now shortly be ended and then Malampur will come into
yeah,
place,
yeah,
the new ground in Chandigarh. So I am sad because PCA is one of my favorite
yeah.
stadiums in India. So that's not going to happen. And obviously SMS, we're not going to be using SMS, which is going to be a problem for Rajasthan Royals
Fortress,
because it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
home fans that make a big difference.
yeah.
So I think Delhi will be the closest games to us, so we will have more fans going to Delhi than probably other grounds. So I'm looking forward to going. If I go to India, I'll look forward to going to Kotla, and
Hmm.
maybe take a trip to Mumbai. Or I would really prefer if Rajasthan played in Rajasthan.
Hmm.
But again, it's going to be interesting because I say the makeup of the team now. Do we have the right balance? Because it's not going to be played at home. That is going to be a big challenge for the Rajasthan Royals. But I am confident now because I say we have got the team in place. I think that our biggest problem was always going to be death bowling.
Hmm.
If Now we have Morris, I think that covers that base quite well. Batting wise, we need consistency in the batting. So if we
Yeah.
keep the top six
Hmm.
consistently through, personally, as I said, I would have Stokes at four,
Yeah,
Butler up
but that
top,
opening. Yeah,
Van Parag,
yeah.
Manan Vora, or Yashashvi. So
Hmm.
they will be my three opening quartet, and then
Hmm.
Sanju obviously at three, and then Stokes at four.
Yeah.
Stokes at four, and that'd be good. And then you've got 5 and 6 Tawatia, you've got Archer, you've got Shubham
Morris.
Dubey
Yeah.
five. So that's a good balance for Rajasthan Royals. Again, have to say it because all the fans are saying it. The less Jay Devnath Cup plays, probably the better I will be
Yeah.
because the fans will. If he plays well,
Yeah.
fans will be happy for 1 second. If he plays badly, fans will be sad for 3 days. So
Yeah.
you have that thing with that player. I think in India he's going to be effective. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think he can be effective in India, but I think Karthik Tyagi will be given the big role this year. I think Karthik Tyagi will step up the plate. We have Joffrey, who is the best bowler at T20. For me, Joffrey is the best at T20. You can't get anything better than that. And then we've got Joss Butler. Joss Butler fires. Rajasthan knows who.
It will be very interesting to see, sir, because Chris Morris in the last season was bit, can say was he had that lot of concerns of injury. So it will be very interesting to see how the management takes care of him because he can be used as a floater as well. If we talk about the skills he has in batting, he has shown for RCB. Back if we talk about 5 to 6 years back. So with that note, it's a pleasure, sir, to have you, on my podcast. And you talked your heart out today. Your fascination towards cricket and the journey you had of cricket coaching. So we'll be discussing more and more, in upcoming times. And obviously, with the Rajasthan Royals fan forum community, it just brings back to you the game, and it just gives you that lot of reach, a pan India or across the globe. to discuss cricket, the true gentleman's game. With that note, sir, thanks a lot.
I just say one thing.
Yeah,
Can I say one thing? Is a pleasure for me to be with you, because I'm saying this is, I say, in the stars. We were meant to meet sometime, somewhere, and this has happened. And the Rajasthan Royals Fans Forum, we set this up as a cricket forum. Yeah, so where people from different communities can also interact with us, and we can learn and share this together. Now we have 4 or 5 females on the panel now, and they have excellent knowledge of cricket as well. So really, it's that diversity, being able to connect around the world, and that is why I am now sitting here with you, because through that forum we have been able to meet. And thank you again for what you are doing on our fans forum as well. Every fan on our fans forum has exceptional knowledge of cricket, and it's good that we're all connecting with each other and helping each other through this time of the lockdown. And it will also be a pleasure to one day for me to come to India and meet you guys as well. So I'm really looking forward to that time, and we'll probably have a game of cricket amongst ourselves. Rajasthan Royals Fans Forum, game of cricket, and we'll say Rajasthan Royals versus the rest of the Rajasthan Royals, and hopefully we will win. Hala bol.
Allah bol. Thank you, sir. Pleasure. Thank you. Yeah.